How's it going, everybody? And welcome to the Fourth and Long podcast with your host, Alec Pecino. Yes, I don't have my co-host is not here with me this morning. He will be on tonight for our call of a game that I will be giving you the score of in a little bit. And we will also preview that game. I will give you stats for that game, and we will be giving you score predictions for other games, and I will talk a little bit about the podcast as well. But let's get started here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to preview the Colorado State game. And we're going to start with stats. So here we go with Colorado State. Their offense in the country is 109th. Their defense is 116th. They score 19 points per game, which is 108th in the FBS. And their passing yards, 127 they have the 127th best pass offense, 125th best pass offense. Passing offense in college football. Their rushing yards is 182, which is 52nd in college football. Their overall defense, they give up 421 and a half yards on defense, which is equivalent to 116th in the country. Their pass defense gives up 273 passing yards, which is 116th in the nation. Their rushing defense gives up 148 and a half rushing yards per game, which is equivalent to 85th in the country. Now we get to Colorado. And Colorado, offensively, they're 77th in the country. Defensively, 97th in the country. So their defense is a little bit better than, on paper, than Colorado State. They're offensively 104th in the country. Their rushing offense produces 37 and a half rushing yards per game, which is 134th in the country. Their passing offense is pretty decent. Overall, defensively, 97th. They give up 391 yards, 391 and a half yards. Their pass defense is 96th in the country, giving up 238 and a half passing yards. And their rush defense is 92nd in the country, giving up 153 rushing yards per game. Now we get to the score predictions. And we start with Bama, Alabama, and Wisconsin. I think Alabama is going to beat Wisconsin 41-28. Now, I do think this is going to be a semi-defensive battle to start, with Bama pulling away toward the end of the game. And I got some news on this game the other day. It seems like Alabama offensive lineman Caden Proctor will make his season debut today against Wisconsin after missing the first two games of the season. So, and I think that's going to be a big boost for Bama, as they will run the ball a lot and score a lot of points. Next, we've got the civil war between Oregon and Oregon State. And I think Oregon State's going to win a high-scoring game and Oregon loses its first game of the year. And I think Oregon State beats Oregon 48-40. Like I just said, I think this is going to be a really competitive game between Oregon and Oregon State. And it was one of my finalists for a game that I was going to do play-by-play for this year. But I chose a different game, and you will get, as most of you know, that game I will be calling tonight with my co-host, and I'll get to the score of that game in a minute. But next is Iowa and Troy. I think Iowa's going to beat the ever-living daylights out of Troy. I think Iowa wins 34-10 with Cade McNamara having a big game and Iowa's defense being stifling as it always is and stopping Troy and holding him to only 10 points. And next we got Memphis and Florida State. And, we got Illinois and Central Michigan. I think Central Michigan covers the spread here, but I think Illinois is going to win, and it's going to be 49-34 Illinois. Illinois upset Kansas last week. Let's see if Illinois can continue their hot start to the season. Now we get to Memphis and Florida State. And I think Memphis wins this game 54-48. And I said on Thursday's show with my co-host that I think there's going to be a lot of points in the Florida State-Memphis game. I believe I said 103 combined points, something around there. Next, we got North Texas and Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech bounces back here, and they win 48-28. Then you've got you. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I think Texas Tech, they're upset after getting beat by Washington State last week. I think they bounce back and beat North Texas. And this might be the final score, 48-28, or it might be worse. Then you've got UAB and Arkansas, and I 38. And a high-scoring, no. Next, we've got Rice and Houston. And I think Rice, even though you're not supposed to lose to a team that's named after food, I think Rice beats the brakes off of Houston 48-21. And this might be one of the only games Rice wins this year. Next, we've got the Battle of Florida between Florida Atlantic and Florida International. I think FIU is going to win this game 48-40. And I think there's going to be a lot of scoring in this game. Watch out for a slugfest. Next, we've got App State and ECU. And some people say this is where college game day should have been. And I disagree. I don't think it's going to be much of a game. I think App State destroys East Carolina. 58-28. App State. And the game I will be calling with my co-host tonight at 7:30 on this YouTube channel. Colorado State. I think Colorado State wins 58-55 over Colorado in double overtime. We get another instant classic like last year between these two teams. And yes, I just said that's the game that me and my co-host Bradley will be calling tonight. Starting at 7 o'clock, we will have a pregame where we catch you up. We talk about the scores from the earlier games, and we preview Colorado State again, and we give our pregame score predictions for the game at 7 o'clock. Get here early at 7 for pregame before the Colorado State game with Bradley and me. And the way it's gonna work is we're gonna switch off every quarter calling the games. So he'll be color commentator. He'll be calling probably Colorado, and I'll probably be doing Colorado State. But we'll flip flop every quarter. And also, if you haven't already subscribed and you feel like you've learned something in this video, or you've picked up knowledge, please subscribe. It would be helpful. We are trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by December 1st. And also, to become an MVP, it is very simple. All you have to do is subscribe to this YouTube channel. Yes, I said it. All you have to do to become an MVP is subscribe to this YouTube channel. It is completely free, and you get all your upset picks against the spread, the podcast with me and Bradley, and you also get the podcast on Patreon if you can't make it over to YouTube, which I recommend following the podcast over there too on Patreon. But that's going to wrap up this video today. I will see y'all tonight with my co-host for the Colorado State game. Have a great rest of your Saturday morning and early afternoon.